Welcome, everyone. I am super excited to be here today with Art Phelps. Art and his brother Rob are the co-founders of Nexus Rewards and the Nexus SNAP program. Art, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Pleasure to be with you, Gloria. Super excited to be with you.
Yeah. So, Art, tell me, how did you get started in network marketing?
Uh, my brother actually saw an ad in the newspaper in 1989, and he came over to my house. He says, put something better on. We're going to a meeting. And we ended up going to some guy's office and got introduced to it. I'd never heard of anything like it before. So exponential growth potential. And we were so excited we had to leave the meeting because I could feel my credit card coming out of my wallet, and there was no money on the card. So we were in a construction business and it was struggling. So, but within 24 hours, we went back, signed up, and honestly, just never really looked back. I mean, it wasn't really that easy, especially just getting started. But I just did what my sponsor was doing. He was running ads, and so I'll run ads, and so we scraped up whatever money we could, and we started running classified ads in the newspaper. People would call, we'd invite them down, we'd do presentations, and slowly but surely we started building a business.
So you never really struggled. You just kind of had success right off the bat. I mean,
No.
you were unlike the rest of us. You walked on water, and unlike the rest of us who struggled,
No. So yeah, I mean, my sponsor had an office, so we just ran the ads and invited people to the office. He did presentations, and then he started. He said, "You do this part, you do this part," and then I just started doing some presentations. But really, Gloria, it was probably about 10 months into it that we were able to say, okay, we're making more now after 10 months of hard work doing this than we were in our construction company. So we said, okay, we can let the construction company go. And that was scary because now we were all in. So when you're
right?
all in, you know what that means. You got to get up in the morning. You got to make the 100 phone calls. You got to follow up. You got to make it happen. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to pay your mortgage.
Yeah.
But we struggled. I remember my wife. I remember what happened when Judy was in the grocery store, and she used to go through the grocery store with a calculator because we could only afford to buy so much stuff, and she's putting stuff back on the shelves. And I remember when we finally were making some money, she says, "I'm leaving the calculator home." And it was just such a pleasure to say, "Hey, yeah, go buy whatever you want in the grocery store. I got it. We're good." So there's motivating things like that. We really want to win for your family, your kids, and all that other stuff. So that's what inspires people to figure it out, get going and figure it out.
Yeah, interestingly, I was on a call just an hour or so ago where, I was talking about what I had to do not that long ago, really just 7 years ago, because I lost my business. Everything was gone and my back was absolutely positively up against the wall. And
Yep.
I worked I mean, like I was so close to having to declare bankruptcy. It wasn't funny. So close. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars of credit card debt. And, because my back was up against a wall, I had to work. I had to make it work. I worked 7 days a week, insane hours. And, frankly, I said to the 100 or so people on that call, probably the problem with most of you is your back isn't up against the wall. Life's okay, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
If there's not a motivation, right? Almost a desperate motivation to make it happen. I don't think whatever. I mean, you can kind of get lucky in some programs. You can it's easier to recruit people in some programs. If it's a matrix type thing, you might have some people spill underneath you, and so you might be able to do okay. But for the most part, if you want that leadership income, the 10, 20, 50,000 a month and more, you're going to work. I mean, you're really going to work and establish some relationships with some great people, and hopefully they kind of follow you in different things. But I've been in a dozen different deals since '89, and every time you start over, it's not like you take everyone with you. You don't.
Right.
You got to start all over again. You may have some advantage, and you start to build some credibility with people, and you start to establish real relationships with some people, but not everyone, so
Right?
it's
Absolutely.
always a startup all over again,
Yeah. So, Art, you said you've been with a dozen different companies. Clearly, those of us who've been in the industry for a while have experienced some of the ups and downs of the industry. What made you, be with a dozen different companies?
Well, the first company we were working with, well, I had joined this water filter company. We were in construction. They were selling water filters. So I'm like, well, okay, we could sell these. We're going to old people's homes. They had a puppy dog. You let people try it for a week, and then they would buy it under the sink or a whole house unit. So we were making some money with that. But that comp plan was kind of a front load. It was a big buy-in, $5,000, $25,000. And after about 6 months, I was like, this is not real residual. This is, you keep
Right.
recruiting people for 5 grand or 25 grand and you get a paycheck. But if you stop doing that, it's over. So we had heard about a nutritional company that was starting up, and it had a brand name that I remember from a kid. It was the Rexall drugstore company that was starting a new division, a networking division. And it had nutritionals. And I said, okay, we had seen what happened with companies like New Skin, where they exploded out there in the
Right.
70s, Herbalife and those things. So we said, maybe this is the next one that's going to go, be a $1 billion company. So we got involved with that, worked really, really hard. And actually in 10 months with that company, we ranked to the top position. And then a lot of cool stuff started happening in that, not me personally, but people in my downline started attracting other people from other companies and other leaders who were looking to make a change. And my business just blew up. My downline grew to like over $9 million a month in volume. Unfortunately, their comp plan didn't allow me to earn on all of that, but we were making some significant, first time in my life ever 50,000 a month. That was more than I was making a year in my construction company, and I was making that a month, and it was like, wow, this is great. So I spent like 13 years with them. And then the company was sold, new ownership, and they were making massive changes to the compensation plan. So Rob and I were like, we don't like this. They were making it harder for people to succeed.
Right.
So we sold our business. I mean, fortunately, we had a significant business. It is willable, it is transferable, and it is saleable with company approval.
Right.
And so the company approved for the sale, and we kind of moved on, and then we just started looking for something that was really traditional MLM, like hotel meetings and conventions and, all that stuff. We started looking at the online business models and found something, where people can get in either really low cost or free, and they get a website and stuff. Because, in the early 90s, that was, actually in late 90s, that was starting to come to fruition. So then we had got involved with that, and it was really build it all over again. But we felt it was a lot easier because it wasn't $1,000 sign up, it wasn't $5,000 sign ups. You're talking $50, $100 or something like that. So and so it's been a lot of online things. And then kind of the reason I think people change companies is, there's a couple. I mean, obviously companies go out of business. If there's some sort of rift with the management team, or they start going in a different direction and
change the comp plan, make it more difficult, right?
Yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one. So so I've kind of bounced around. We even owned a tools company for a while to help marketers succeed. So, but that's not as easy as people think. Easy, just own a company. Yeah, then you got to deal with the coders and programmers, and you got to have deep pockets because stuff always breaks, and you got to be able to fix it and stuff. So we've really seen, I think, the industry from just about every perspective out there.
So what made you and Rob decide you were going to start Nexus Rewards?
I think it was a little frustration. We were looking for low cost, low ticket programs. We dabbled in a few and had some great success, but these were, I don't want to say rinky dink. They just weren't well funded operations. And after 6 months, they just went out of business. They lost their merchant account. We experienced so much growth in 6 months, but we started to see what was happening with these. At that time, I think it was like 5 years ago, it was a little $20 program. We ended up, everyone was kind of jumping into it, and it was crazy. Like in 3 months, we had like 5,000 people in this $20 deal, and you end up making like $1 a person. So I'm making 5,000 a month in like 3 months, and I was like, man, if this keeps going a year from now, I could see how I could be making, that 50,000 again.
Yeah.
But the 4th month, he went out of business. He lost his merchant account and said, we can only accept crypto. And I'm like, what? That's
Yeah.
it. It's so we had, and then we were looking for other low cost things and not really finding it out there. There was nothing out there that was in that price point. So we got to do it ourselves. And once we made that decision and that commitment, it's amazing how things started falling into play. Relationships that I had with merchant accounts 20 years ago are now coming back into play with us. So they're reaching out to us and they say, you guys want to do something together? I'm like, yeah, we want to do something together. And they said, well, we got this app and it helps you save money on everything. And I was like, yeah, that'd be a great product, So that was our decision. We started with one product with SNAP, Nexus Rewards, and and then it's kind of, we just kept adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff. So it was just a frustration that we didn't see anything out there that we felt comfortable with. And there's something about wanting to have control of the destiny of where this thing is going.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, the owners of other companies, they're just like, no, we don't want to do that. And, it's like, if I listen, like you have good ideas. I respect you. I know what you've done in the past. You're a true leader. When you give us an opinion, we're like, yeah, that is a good idea. Let's make that happen. So when our leaders come to us and say, what do you think about this? I like it, and so it's really about having that great relationship with people. And Rob and I don't own all the good ideas in the world.
Right.
We get them from all our great people that we're working with. So that part of it is fun.
So somebody asked me, prospect asked me recently why I decided to join you guys, because he knew that I'd spoken to you before I ever joined. And I gave him my answer, but I'm curious if someone asked you that, like as an owner with your brother of the company, why should I join you guys? What are you guys as owners going to do that somebody else might not do?
Well, I think the most important thing we're going to do is we're going to pay you more money than other companies. Because Rob and I looked at it and said, okay, we don't need to make a lot of money. Everyone needs to make money, but we don't need to make a lot of money. We don't need to be these owners that have all this hidden breakage in their compensation plan that ends up the money. It doesn't really get paid out to the field.
Right.
A lot of it's staying right in the corporate wheelhouse. So I think being honest with the compensation plan, being generous with the plan is some of the key features. But also, we're good guys. I'm an honest guy. I'm not, sometimes you see these owners and I'm not saying they're not good guys, but they really don't, they've never been distributors. They're just some rich guy wants to start an MLM. They don't understand what it's like to be in the trenches or how to prospect, how to follow up, and, or even how to create the tools that do that heavy lifting for you. So we just feel that our blend of 34 years of marketing, prospecting, following up, recruiting, building, training is an asset really for anybody. And we're also accessible. Here we are doing a Zoom. I've got another one in a half hour with another group of people and stuff. So we like that. We like being accessible and being open and honest with people about where we are as a company. We don't have to do any smoke and mirrors here,
Yeah.
So,
well, what I said to the prospect who was asking me that question was, when I spoke to you and I felt that you guys were both really grounded, honest, down to earth guys. And I told them when I first started, I brought in a bunch of people and then I did nothing, but that was my intention right from the very beginning, to bring in a bunch of people and then just let it, sit there and be passive. And I said, kudos to you and Rob that even when I wasn't doing anything, because there were months when I didn't recruit a soul. I wasn't trying to build it. And I knew that, I knew that that was my strategy. But even when I was in that I'm not building it all phase, you and Rob were just as responsive as if I was the number one earner, the top recruiter. And you've always been crazy responsive. You guys have been by far, hands down, the best owners that I have ever worked with, and I've worked with a whole bunch. So kudos to you guys
Well,
on
thank
that,
you.
honestly.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, we understand the value of people, and I remember our very first Zoom when you were looking at this opportunity that I think Steve brought your sponsor brought you to that, and we had an opportunity to meet with you. And right off the bat, I was super impressed with your professionalism and your work ethic, and your organizational skills, letting us know you had a global organization, and also letting us know, hey man, you got to do some stuff with your website if you want to be compliant in Europe and compliant all over the world. And we're like, okay, let's get on that, and so we had our engineers and programmers do that so that we could be a more efficient opportunity globally. And we thank you for that. I mean, because you're helping us become a better company. So we appreciate that very much, Gloria.
Yes. Well, thanks. Thanks, Art. Really appreciate that. Now, let me ask you another question, kind of going back to the comp plan. How important do you think a comp plan is to an opportunity? Like if somebody's looking at an opportunity and trying to decide, should I join this one or that one or the other one? How much of a difference does the comp plan make, do you think?
To me, everything. I mean, to me,
Okay.
everything. That's, it's almost like that's the first thing I look at. If somebody sends me a link or something like that, uh, products are important, or services, or whatever it's going to be is important. But I think to other marketers, I think the compensation plan is extremely important. I think, you ask yourself certain questions. Not only can I do it, I think because pretty much you, me, just all this experience, we can do it. We can do
Yep.
whatever it is, we can do it. But my question is, can other people do it? Will this
Yeah.
be easy enough for other people to do? And if that's the case, then I'm saying, okay, let's take a real, how are people gonna get rewarded? And then, like I said earlier, with the breakage and sometimes the qualifications, and this has just been like a bane of for me. It's like drives me crazy when I see all these hoops that people have to jump through, and balancing legs and making sure that people underneath you have to meet a rank, or you're not going to get paid. I mean, that's
Right.
the one thing I said, no, it's gotta be in my control, your control. If you do this, you're gonna get paid. You might have to do more. It'll be easier if your people make rank, but even if they don't make rank, you should be able to get paid based upon the numbers. So because I've been in those plans where you got to have a 3-star in each of your legs, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, dang, and one of them misses rank, and all of a sudden your check drops by 10 grand. You're like, why? Because he lost 2 people or something, and his
Yeah.
rank collapsed, and I don't have control of that. Nobody has control of that. So I like a compensation plan that people have control of. You got to go to work, you got to make it happen, but your income is dependent upon your efforts and what you're able to do, and your team's efforts and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think comp plan's pretty super important.
Okay. So again, huge congrats to you and Rob for making dramatic changes in your comp plan just a month and a half, 2 months ago. Right. So what was it that made you decide to make those changes? Because you made it much better. Unlike some companies where they make it harder, you made it easier and better. So what was it that made you decide to make that kind of a change?
Well, yeah, so I was telling you earlier that I was in this $20 deal, and we put like 5,000 people in 3 months. And then the owner, whatever, the merchant accounts didn't work. Company closed. So I said, well, we can do a $20 deal. And that's what we had. We had a $20 deal. And so it took us whatever, a year to get it all together and everything. So this is after I was with that other company. I said, okay, 21.95. Yep, that's what we had in the other one. We can blow out, get 5,000 people in 3 months. But something happened, and in the landscape of online marketing, you know, we had an initial jolt because I had all my friends, the contacts, they were waiting to get in and everything else like that. But then it was not really growing the way that I had seen it grow with this other opportunity. It was better. We had better product, better services, more value, and everything else like that. But it just wasn't. It wasn't growing the way that other $20 deal was for me. So I said, well, you know, so just keeping ourselves open. And then we saw what other companies started doing in late 2022, and all throughout 2023. You know, you see some other companies that, I mean, they're putting, you know, 1,000+ people a day in their programs, and you're like, what the heck are they doing? And so you start to do a deep dive, and you see something, and listen, if something's working, you know, I don't mind, I don't mind borrowing it, you know. And so
Yeah.
what we saw was like a 995 was like a magic monthly number. The same magic that I think $20 was 4 years ago. You know, $20 was like that magic number. Now it's $9.95. So we said, can we do $9.95? Yes, we can do it. We went to our merchants and said, okay, we're gonna have to, what can we do? And they go, yeah, okay, great. And then the $40 startup was also magic because it's like it's so month one it's $49.95. People can afford it. They can find that. And then it goes to $9.95 a month. This is like the sweet spot in opportunities. I mean, you got companies bringing in 1 million people in a year for that. And you're like, holy mackerel, man, that's crazy. So we went to work on doing it, and we want to thank you again for that because you allowed us to get into the back offices of these other companies and show us the actual numbers and what's paying out where and here and there. So it really wasn't that difficult for us to make the tweaks in our comp plan because the fundamentals were there. We had our unilevel that was an infinity unilevel, so it pays beyond 10 levels. We had a coded bonus, which is really amazing. We just needed to change the numbers on it. That's really what we needed to do. We had a matrix. We just needed to change the numbers. So instead of paying this, we pay this now. Instead of paying that, we pay that. And Gloria, it was like magical. I mean, it was really magical from day one. I mean, we went from signing up 10 to 15 people a day in the old plan, which is not terrible, but it's not wonderful, you know,
Right.
I mean, now we're signing, I mean, almost immediately numbers started doubling, and all of a sudden we're signing up 30 a day, then 40 a day, then 50 a day. Yesterday, 220 people signed up. So now we're moving from, yeah, we're signing from 10 to 15 people a day to hundreds of people a day. And we're going to get to thousands of people a day too, because now it's the snowball that's rolling down the hill, right? So,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
timing is great. I mean, it's good. We don't have a ton of people in yet, but we're absolutely gonna. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, again, I was saying on a call this morning that this Nexus SNAP is the easiest comp plan on the planet. It honestly is. Yeah, you guys have done an amazing job. You're paying out. I love the fact. I mean, it's exactly what I was saying. And, you know, I was talking about another opportunity where you have to get 2,500 people to get to Diamond. In Nexus SNAP, you need 1,000 people to get to Diamond. In the other opportunity, you need to have, you know, 3 of this rank in each one of 3 legs. In Nexus SNAP, you don't need to have anybody at any particular rank.
Right.
And 1,000 people, only 1,000 people to get to Diamond. That's crazy. That's crazy. And the comp plan pays you so well, even before you get to Diamond. So huge kudos to you and what you've done with the 3x10 force matrix. I mean, you recruit one person and you can make, you know, there's the potential to make over $7,000 a month in the force matrix. Now, that's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen next month. It's going to take time, right, for that force matrix to fill out. And even if 5 years from now it wasn't filled out completely, even if you were making $1,200 a month in the force matrix, you know, you've only recruited one person and you're making $1,200 a month. Heck, right? Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
So kudos to you guys. It's what you've
Yeah.
created is absolutely amazing, Art. Honestly, I'm on fire about this because I truly believe that it is the best opportunity on the planet, and certainly the best opportunity I've ever been involved in.
I think people give it a shot. They're gonna experience that kind of excitement that you're sensing with it. That people enroll. I mean, as long as your link's out there and you're doing any kind of promotion. I know you do a lot of YouTube stuff, and that it's so simple. Do a review, put it up there. You get signups from it. People you don't even know, right? And
Totally,
it's
totally.
that's happening all over the place.
Yeah.
So. It's kind of a magic time right now, Gloria, is
Yes.
super magic because it's the new year, right? Everyone is looking for something new, fresh, exciting. Everyone has those goals of, okay, 2024 is going to be different for me. I got to make some more money. I got to do some things. And then maybe some other companies have reached a little saturation point, whereas everyone knows about it, they heard about it, or they're already in it, or they're already made up their mind about it. And, or this, people getting frustrated with a little bit more high ticket stuff that, costs hundreds or even thousands to get in.
Yeah.
It's tough to get somebody to enroll in those things. In the current economy, inflation's still real, grocery store prices still high, out to dinner still extremely high. And so I think these low ticket things have a distinct advantage of being people to enroll a lot more people. It's not
Absolutely.
really a decision. $10 a month, that's not a big decision. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I got to call my wife, see if I can join for $50. No, but if I was getting into something for 10 grand or 1,000, I mean, let me just talk to Judy first, let her know I'm gonna do, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So this is like a pop decision. I think when people come in and they actually use our apps and they see it working, they get excited. And even if they're enrolling free members, they can make money and bonuses on those app referral bonuses. And that gives them a little success and confidence. It's like, hey, I enrolled a free member and I made $30. That's pretty cool. So now they got the confidence to go out and do some more. And as they continue to enroll, even free members, we as a company follow up with all those free members. We're pumping out emails to them a couple of times a week. We're inviting them to company Zooms. We're sending them videos, and our upgrade ratio is great. I mean, it's like 30% of the free members are upgrading. And so, we're going to keep looking to improve that. Okay. But anything above 3%, it's really
great,
good.
right.
So we're happy with where we're going and direction that we're moving in. Definitely.
Yeah, and the other thing which we just barely touched on just now is like there's no auto ship, right? There's no product to even sell. All it is helping people save money. So there are two things of Nexus. You save money. You save money on things you're buying anyway, gas, groceries, dining out, health insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance, utility bills. You save money and you make money. That's it. And saving money is making money. So we're not even trying to sell anything. We're not trying to get any more money out of anybody. Like this is, oh my gosh, like, why wouldn't you join this? Because I can guarantee you, if you use any of the apps, I mean, on one app alone, I've saved over $534 in a year, which is, yeah. Well, I mean, it's way more than the $9.95 it's costing me a month, right? Way more than that.
Right.
And that doesn't even include, and that's just one app. And I haven't gone and bought anything that I wouldn't buy anyway, right? And I haven't spent any more money. I've just saved money. And of course, we're not even talking about all the money I'm making from actually growing the business and building the business. So this is the absolute number one no-brainer of the year and of a lifetime. So if anybody's looking for something in 2024, or if you have not joined Nexus SNAP yet, get on there today and check out the link below and get going with Nexus SNAP today. Honestly,
Yes,
Art,
it's
you and Rob have done.
yeah.
Amazing.
The interesting thing, Gloria, is like the fundamentals that I learned 34 years ago. They're so easy to put in play. What do? You get your story, right? You get your story, Like we were with the Rexall had a weight loss product. You take the product, you lose weight, you get your story, you share your story. Hey, I lost weight. You want to find out how? Or whatever, my blood sugar lowered. You want to find out how? Whatever the story. Here, you come in, use an app, you save $800 on your internet, or you save $1,700 on your auto insurance. So you get your story and share your story, and people say, "Can I do that too?" Yeah, yeah. Go join us in Nexus, right? So it's really, or there's just so many people looking for something, some kind of an opportunity that they can get in and win, finally win with something.
Yeah.
And it's just Rob and I are so excited when we see across the landscape in our Zoom meetings with everybody, and they're on our Facebook pages and social media stuff. They're pumped. They're winning. They're winning with the apps, with the cashback, and the ability to grow their business has never been easier. So I couldn't agree more. The timing is not going to get better for people tomorrow, next week, next month. Right now is the best time there is to get into this thing. So I would definitely follow your advice and click the button below and join us as quickly as possible.
Absolutely, because especially with the force matrix, it really does matter. The sooner you sign up, the faster your matrix is going to fill. That's just the way a matrix works, period, right? So don't wait, guys. If you're watching this, click the link below right now and join us in Nexus SNAP. Art, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Awesome. Thank you, Gloria. I look forward to working with your new team members. Bye for now.
Absolutely. Thanks, Art.